they're trying to push 360s out. Everybody's trying to push 360s out. Even up
we
here
have
in the
so many
Midwest. Hold
360s
on. Even over here in the Midwest, there is a national push right now to get rid of 360s. I hope everybody knows this. If you haven't noticed it, you haven't paid attention to all the politicking in the background. But there is a national push to get rid of 360s. And I'll tell you what, 360 Racing did it to its damn self when they started making those 360s cost $5,000 cheaper than a 410. You know, and you could have so much an advantage with that badass 360 where you could have an average 410 and on most tracks have a chance to compete. Maybe not in an outlaw format where qualifying's everything. That's why I hate their format. It's junk. It's for the nepotism monarchy powerhouse teams that qualifying matters so much, because in qualifying in 410 racing, if that sets your whole night, then yeah, the poor team can't keep up. If you don't invert or anything, then the poor guy who ain't got the $75,000 motor ain't going to have a chance. But
exactly,
in typical formats where that's not the case, not even an invert format, but a draw format, a budget 410 has a chance to do some damage, and 360s just outpriced themselves. 360 Racing was great when the best motor on the block was $35,000. When that 360 motor went past $35,000, it destroyed it destroyed it. It was on its way to its death. And 305 Racing will do that as well once that sumbitch starts crossing into the too much too expensive. Once it starts getting into 30, you're fucked, because you could get a decent 410 used for 37, 40,000. We've seen Danny Dietrich, back to him, post used motors that he's won World of Outlaw or won big events. Sorry, he ain't ever he's won World of Outlaws, but it was all luck. He's won big PA sprint car races with relatively affordable 410 motors. So everyone wants 360s gone, is what I'm saying.
Well, I'll tell you what, the 360s are still big over here in California right now. I mean, you can have 4 to 5 different tracks playing the same night in California. You have Marysville, Placerville. You could have Chico running, and they're all getting 20 plus cars.
Okay.
You know what I mean? 360s are out here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot more 360s than there is 410s out here right now.
But they're trying to get rid of them.
And I see your point, how they're, like you said, the motors they're just putting more in the motor, so guys are like, well, if we're going to put that much, we also have a 410.
Well, and this is the point, and Ducky just said it, and that's what I'm all for, too. He says, I wish our 360 or 305 scene was bigger. We are putting a car together for this coming season. I think that's the way to go. I honestly think in the future of sprint car racing, the right way to do it, if we're gonna actually set this up, and I even talked to Brad Sweet about this, because I've been wanting to put something together for the 305s. I was really close, and we could still possibly do it if the right things fall in line. I was really close in doing a 305 sprint car speed week myself, putting together and doing something for Florida, because it would be a banger. Just a couple ins and outs away from doing it, a couple conversations, it would be a banger. Because I do believe that 305s and 410s is going to be the future of sprint car racing. And some people, what do you just say? Yeah, and it's all ass backwards because jet drivers aren't rejected or respected. I don't know what that means. But regardless, I think 305 to 410, you need your affordable division. You need a try-out division for 410 racing.
Like a beginner division.
You
like
need
your pure stocks of sprint cars.
Correct. And 360s was that when it was $25,000 for a competitive motor. It was that.
Right. Now it's like a modified in the late model.
Right. It's stupid. It's dumb. Almost in the fendered world. Get rid of the modifieds. Stock cars and late models, because the modified just costs that much. And you see the car counts lean towards that. In the stock cars, way more stock cars than full-blown modifieds. And you see that even out there, y'all may not have the case, but nationally, there's way more 305s than there are 360s nationally. Over there, it may not be the case, but nationally, it's true.
Yeah, but I heard the only ones that have 305s is down south.
And that's because y'all been putting so much. The problem is you've had poor people trying to race 360s. and rich people dominating it. That's what's happened.
But
you ain't got a class for the affordable people. That's my point. You ain't got a dominant class for the affordable. Those people who are dominating 360s with their big fucking banks should be running 410s. And the people who can't afford it and just want to get going and try to win and try to be somebody should have a 305.
Big dominates 360 wherever he runs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but, dude, I was explained on that 360 deal scene over there. And the thing is with the 360, if you can get a sprint car, look, even a 305 motor is not enough horsepower for a sprint car. You can hook every damn ounce of that horsepower up with that race car. With as much tire and as much wing as a sprint car itself has, you can hook every ounce of the horsepower of that 305 up on the track. It has to go super slick, and then it breaks loose, but not a lot. Same thing almost for the 360. With the shock technologies that came.
How much horsepower do those 305s put out?
I want to say 450. I want to say 450, 470 maybe.
Still a lot of power. I mean, not compared to a 410, but still a lot of horsepower.
But here's the deal.
Still a lot of horsepower for a quarter-mile track. You know what I mean?
A sprint car starts to really break loose at about that 720, 740 mark,
right?
700-ish mark. A traditional 360 sprint car when they first started out was hovering around the 650,
right?
640,
680.
In there. It's not that way anymore. And what I mean by that is a sprint car ain't breaking loose till about 720, 750. So if you could put the money like a Golubic or any of these guys, and you could put a motor together that hums in that 700 department, 720, that Ford Moss motor era, that Jason Johnson dominated ASCS with that Ford motor because it put more horsepower down. So if you can buy more horsepower, you can have a huge advantage in 360 racing. Almost the same thing in 305s. I think it needs to be regulated before it gets out of hand. But it has a sealed motor rule, so they do what they can with it. But 360s aren't like that. These guys who can afford to buy that extra horsepower can put every single piece of it down. And that's the thing with the 410s. You can go buy that 900 horsepower 410 motor or that 920. But come a main time, you can have that 800. You can have that 850 because once you pass that 750 mark, the car's starting to break loose. Yeah. Now there's some guys who that's the logic behind it. So you could have a $30,000, $35,000 410 motor that can technically, especially on y'all shorter tracks, compete with that 900 horsepower motor. But you can't have a 650 horsepower 360 motor compete with that 700 horsepower 360 motor because it's putting all of it down. So that's the logic behind it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally understand what you're saying. I agree with you.
Well, I'm not trying to tell you you're wrong or anything. I'm not denying y'all's 360 scene either. I mean, it's huge, but people are trying to push it out. They don't want it no more because of these things.
This is how we ride. This is how we do.